Good evening. Tonight, we bring you a story that's sending shockwaves through the aviation industry and beyond. China's recent decision to halt all new Boeing aircraft purchases is not just a headline, it's a move that's reverberating across the global economy, affecting industries, jobs, and international relations. This isn't simply a business dispute between two corporate giants. It's a bold and calculated political maneuver, one that could reshape the balance of power between the United States and China, the world's two largest economies. The implications stretch far beyond the boardroom, touching on issues of national security, technological competition, and global supply chains. For decades, Boeing jets soaring over Chinese cities symbolized a thriving partnership and mutual economic growth. Now, the sudden absence of new orders marks a dramatic shift, signaling a deepening rift and growing mistrust between these economic superpowers. The shockwaves have rattled Wall Street, with investors reacting to the uncertainty. But the real impact is felt on the ground, by American manufacturing plants, suppliers, and the thousands of workers whose livelihoods depend on Boeing's success. By targeting Boeing, China is flexing its economic muscle, using its vast market as leverage in the ongoing US-China trade dispute. This move is a clear message. Access to China's lucrative aviation market is not guaranteed, and can be used as a bargaining chip in broader negotiations. Losing access to China, a market projected to purchase thousands of planes in the coming decades, is a devastating blow to Boeing's long-term prospects. It threatens not only future sales, but also the company's ability to innovate and compete globally. Around the world, leaders and analysts are watching closely. Will this move escalate already simmering tensions, or could it force both sides back to the negotiating table in search of compromise? Tonight, we'll take a closer look at how this single decision is shaking the very foundations of the global economy, and what it could mean for the future of international trade, aviation, and the delicate relationship between China and the United States. To truly grasp the impact of Boeing, we need to look beyond the headlines and numbers. Consider Boeing's immense role in both the US and the global economy, a role that stretches far beyond simply building airplanes. Boeing isn't just an airplane maker, it's a cornerstone of American industry, a symbol of innovation, and one of the nation's largest exporters, sending American engineering and technology to every corner of the globe. The company employs over 150,000 people in high-skilled jobs, from engineers and designers to factory workers and logistics experts. But Boeing's reach goes even further, anchoring a vast supply chain of 12,000 US companies, small businesses and large manufacturers alike, whose fortunes rise and fall with Boeing's success. Its success supports entire communities, providing not just jobs, but funding for schools, local businesses, and civic projects. Every new aircraft order drives billions in economic activity, fueling growth in towns and cities across America. On the world stage, Boeing and its European rival Airbus have long dominated commercial aviation, making Boeing jets a familiar sight at airports from New York to Nairobi. Each sale of a Boeing jet to another country is more than a business deal. It often strengthens diplomatic ties, deepening relationships between the US and its trading partners. That's why China's recent ban on Boeing aircraft is not just a business setback, but a strategic challenge to US influence in one of the world's largest aviation markets. This move undermines Boeing's global standing, casting uncertainty over its future in international markets and raising questions about America's role in global aviation. It also opens the door for competitors like Airbus and China's own Comac, who are eager to fill the gap and expand their influence. The situation is a stark reminder that economic interdependence, once seen as a path to peace, can also be weaponized in the struggle for global power. Now, the fate of Boeing is tied to the complex, often tense relationship between Washington and Beijing, where every negotiation and policy shift can have ripple effects across the world. As the world's aviation balance shifts, the story of Boeing is a window into the broader contest for economic and technological leadership in the 21st century. China's move against Boeing marks a significant turning point in the ongoing economic tensions between the world's two largest economies. This decision didn't come out of nowhere, it's the result of years of mounting friction and strategic maneuvering. The latest escalation in the US-China trade conflict is not just about goods and tariffs, but about influence, power, and the future of global commerce. Both nations are locked in a high-stakes contest that affects industries and workers around the world. For years, the US has accused China of unfair trade practices, intellectual property theft, and forced technology transfers. These issues have fueled distrust and led to a series of heated negotiations, with each side trying to protect its own interests. The imposition of tariffs and retaliatory measures has sparked a trade war, causing uncertainty and disruption for businesses on both sides of the Pacific. Factories have slowed production, supply chains have been rerouted, and investors have grown increasingly anxious. Boeing, once a shining example of US-China cooperation and mutual benefit, has now become a prime target as tensions have escalated. The company's fortunes are now closely tied to the shifting winds of international politics. Industry analysts have long warned that major aircraft orders could become bargaining chips in this geopolitical chess game, and today, those warnings have become reality. The stakes for both sides are enormous. China's decision to halt Boeing orders is a calculated strike at a cornerstone of American manufacturing. It's a move designed to send a clear message to Washington, while also demonstrating Beijing's willingness to leverage its market power. Unlike broad tariffs that impact a wide range of products, this is a focused and highly symbolic blow. It targets a flagship American company, making the consequences both economic and psychological. China is signaling that it's willing to endure its own economic pain to make a powerful political point. The message is clear. In this conflict, no industry is off limits, and both sides are prepared for long-term consequences. The divide between the two nations is deepening, with each new move widening the rift and making reconciliation more difficult. Diplomatic efforts have stalled, and mutual suspicion is at an all-time high. The trade war has evolved beyond simple tariffs and countermeasures. It has become a strategic rivalry, with each side seeking to outmaneuver the other on the global stage. The world is watching as the balance of power shifts. Now, aerospace has emerged as a new battleground in this global power struggle. The outcome will shape not only the future of these two nations, but also the direction of international trade and technology for years to come. The headlines focus on stock prices, but the real impact is on workers and families. Each canceled Boeing order means less work for engineers, mechanics, and technicians. In towns like Everett and North Charleston, Boeing jobs power entire communities. A slowdown means layoffs, reduced hours, and anxiety about the future. Local businesses, from coffee shops to car dealerships, feel the ripple effect. The pride of building world-class jets is replaced by uncertainty and fear. Specialized workers face tough prospects if layoffs come. This is a harsh reminder. Global politics can upend American lives overnight. The human cost is measured in lost wages and sleepless nights. The Boeing ban's shockwave hits thousands of US suppliers. Most parts for a Boeing jet come from a vast network of companies, many relying on Boeing as their main customer. When Boeing cuts orders, suppliers lay off workers and lose contracts, affecting businesses nationwide. This domino effect threatens advanced manufacturing skills and innovation. Once lost, rebuilding this capacity is slow and costly. Communities hosting suppliers face job losses and shrinking local economies. The pain isn't limited to Boeing's home states, it's a national issue. The fate of a small Midwest parts maker now hinges on decisions in Beijing. The ban exposes just how interconnected and vulnerable America's industrial base is. One company's crisis becomes a country's challenge. China's Boeing ban is reshaping the global aviation market. For decades, Boeing and Airbus have battled for dominance. Now, Airbus stands to gain as Chinese airlines turn to Europe. Airbus may struggle to meet surging demand, but it's a historic opportunity. Meanwhile, China is accelerating its own aviation ambitions. The state-owned Comac C919, still reliant on Western parts, now has a guaranteed home market. Beijing can direct airlines to buy Chinese, giving Comac the scale to improve. The Boeing-Airbus duopoly faces a new challenger. In the coming years, Comac could compete globally, especially in countries aligned with China. The skies are getting more crowded and more competitive. The China ban hits Boeing during a perfect storm of challenges. Safety scandals, manufacturing flaws, and regulatory scrutiny have already damaged the company's reputation. Increased oversight has slowed deliveries and shaken passenger trust. Labor disputes and union negotiations add to the turmoil. Boeing's internal struggles make recovery even harder. The loss of China's market erases a huge chunk of future business. Boeing now faces unprecedented financial and operational pressure. Navigating this crisis will require flawless execution and some luck. Boeing isn't standing still. It's fighting to survive. The company is aggressively seeking sales in India, Southeast Asia, and the Middle East. Every deal matters as Boeing tries to fill the gap left by China. Strengthening ties with loyal customers and promoting its defense and space divisions are key strategies. Government contracts offer some stability amid commercial uncertainty. Internally, Boeing is overhauling quality control and restructuring operations. Slower production may hurt short-term revenue, but is vital for rebuilding trust. Investment in new technology aims to cut costs and boost competitiveness. Ultimately, reopening China's market may require a diplomatic breakthrough. Boeing's future depends on new sales, reforms, and international diplomacy. China's Boeing ban is a lesson in global interdependence and its fragility. The ripple effects reach far beyond aerospace, impacting jobs, communities, and economies. Trade disputes and economic nationalism threaten decades of global progress. When trade becomes a weapon, everyone pays the price, through lost jobs and higher costs. The human impact is real. Workers, small business owners, and families face uncertainty. Building economic walls also builds barriers between people and cultures. The Boeing saga shows the urgent need for dialogue and stable, rules-based trade. Our global economy connects us all. Solutions require awareness and cooperation. The world is watching, hoping for leadership and wisdom to prevail.